It can kill a great white shark in under 2 minutes. It hunts in coordinated packs that take down animals 10 times its size. In 2019, researchers off Western Australia watched a pod do something no one had ever documented before: kill an adult blue whale, the largest animal that has ever existed on Earth. It's called a killer whale, and in all of recorded history, there is no confirmed case of one killing a human being in the wild. Not one. Despite people swimming next to them, diving with them, surfing through their hunting grounds for decades. Something doesn't add up. On February 24, 2010, at SeaWorld Orlando, a trainer named Dawn Bronchot was pulled into the water by an orca named Tilikum during a live show. She died. It wasn't the first time for Tilikum. In 1991, a young trainer named Kelty Byrne slipped into a training pool in British Columbia and was pulled under repeatedly by 3 whales, Tilikum among them. In 1999, a man named Daniel Dukes was found dead in Tilikum's tank after hours alone with the animal overnight. A separate orca, a different whale entirely, named Keto, killed a trainer named Alexis Martinez during a rehearsal in the Canary Islands in 2009. 4 human deaths have been linked to captive orcas. Tilikum was involved in 3 of them, all in captivity. Meanwhile, in the open ocean, the actual hunting ground of an animal built to kill things far larger and stronger than a person, nothing. Same species, same raw physical capability, wildly different outcome. Why? The obvious explanations don't hold up. They're too small to be worth hunting. No. This is an animal that kills blue whales, the largest creature in Earth's history. Size has never stopped an orca. They just don't like the taste. That's not a real answer. It's a guess dressed up as an explanation. And it doesn't explain why fish-eating orcas won't eat mammals, even when they're starving. They're naturally gentle toward people. Also false. This is the same species that, in captivity, has killed 4 people. In the wild, groups off Spain and Portugal have been ramming and disabling sailboats since 2020. Sometimes for nearly an hour at a time, tearing rudders clean off, sinking the vessel entirely. Gentle isn't the word for an animal capable of that. So if it's not size, taste, or temperament, what is it? Killer whales don't inherit what to eat. They're taught it. For years. By their mothers. Orca calves stay with their mothers for life. Sons included, sometimes into their 30s and 40s. During that time, they don't just learn to hunt. They learn what counts as prey at all. Different populations specialize in completely different diets, and the specialization is absolute. Southern resident orcas, off the Pacific Northwest, specialize overwhelmingly in fish, especially salmon. During summer, when Chinook are available, they eat them almost exclusively. A population of mammal-hunting orcas, known as bigs or transient killer whales, lives in the exact same waters, sometimes crossing paths with the fish eaters daily. The 2 groups don't interbreed. They don't share prey. They don't even vocalize the same way. Each population has its own dialect of calls, passed down and taught, not instinctive. And the clearest evidence of how rigid that line is doesn't come from what they eat. It comes from what they don't. Researchers have documented 78 cases of southern resident orcas harassing porpoises. Going back to 1962, 28 of those porpoises died. The orcas still didn't eat them. The killing behavior was there. The feeding behavior wasn't. Think about that. Humans were never taught either. Not to any population, anywhere, across an animal whose diet otherwise ranges from herring to blue whales. Here's what makes this different from most predator-avoidance stories. With something like a shark or a lion outside a tent, the usual explanation is uncertainty. The predator hesitates because it can't identify the target, can't calculate the risk. doesn't recognize the shape. That is not what's happening here. Orcas have some of the most sophisticated echolocation of any animal on the planet. They can identify species, size, and even individual fish by species and fat content from meters away in pitch-black water using sound alone. An orca that encounters a human in open water is not confused about what it's looking at. This isn't hesitation born of uncertainty. It's the opposite. It's a database, built over generations and confirmed by extraordinarily precise senses, that simply has no entry for us. Not unclear, not unfamiliar, just never included. A tent works because the lion can't resolve what it's looking at. A human in the water works, if you can call it that, for the reverse reason. The orca resolves it completely. And the category it belongs to has just never been food. So is the pattern airtight? No. In 1972, off the California coast, a surfer was bitten by a wild orca. The one clearly documented case on record. The whale let go almost immediately and left. The likely explanation? Mistaken identity, a surfer's silhouette read as a seal from below. In 2005, a 12-year-old boy swimming in shallow water in Alaska was bumped by a transient orca. He wasn't bitten, he wasn't injured. The whale moved on. There's also an older, murkier account from the 1950s. Orcas trapped in Arctic sea ice, a group of hunters, a death nobody can actually confirm happened the way the story says. Most researchers treat it as folklore riding on the edge of a real event. And then there's Gibraltar. Since 2020, a subgroup of Iberian orcas has engaged in sustained, deliberate, repeated physical interactions with boats. Hundreds of documented cases, several vessels sunk outright. Some call these attacks. Many of the researchers who actually study these whales don't. The group that tracks them, Orca iberica, points out there's no evidence of aggressive intent. The orcas focus specifically on the rudder, lose interest once the boat stops moving, and show none of the usual signals of aggression. Whatever you call it, it isn't confusion. It's targeted, it's repeated, and it looks learned. Young orcas doing it again and again, some of them clearly having been shown how. People are on those boats, every time. And across hundreds of these interactions, over 5 years, not one person has been bitten, grabbed, or harmed. That, more than anything, is the tell. Even in the middle of the most sustained, physically forceful contact orcas have ever had with human property, the contact stops at the hull. Picture the moment from on board one of those Gibraltar boats, the hull groaning, the rudder wrenched sideways, a 5-ton animal slamming into the boat again and again, close enough to see the white patch above its eye through the water, and the crew standing right there, untouched. An animal with the size, the speed, and the teeth to end that encounter in seconds. Chooses every time not to. Not because it's afraid, because we were simply never on the list.